Let's try this one. Nope. What in the hell is going on? Why is there no sound? Check. Hello. All right. We won't use the good mic. We will use the not so good mic. All right, good. So you guys can hear me. Good. Great. All right. Well, thank you guys for stepping in here. Comment in the chat where you're from. Would love to hear from you. Where are you guys from? Let's get some people. See what places of the world. Anael, Alina, hello, ATX, Austin, we're here. Amazing, amazing. Germany, wow, amazing. Great, great, great. All right, France, all over the world. Thanks for coming. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, today we are Ivana Fontana, look at that. All right, today we are streaming here from Austin, Texas, and we are going to talk about unlocking your magnetic personal brand and how to stand out, get seen, attract success, and really get aligned with who you are. So we will jump into the presentation here and get going. All right, so you don't, I will introduce myself here in just a sec as we go through the slides, but my name is Nick Onken, and I am a brand alchemist and photographer, and I've been working with brands for the last 20 years, building global campaigns and photographing celebrities, and now I'm helping entrepreneurs build their personal brands. So let's dive in here. To harness your magnetism game and go from invisible to influential, I want you to stay till the end because I'm going to make a personal invitation to you for something that I have to offer. But with this masterclass, I'm going to show you some of the top 3 key points in creating magnetism, creating a personal brand that resonates with your audience. So this presentation, this masterclass is for you if you struggle to stand out, your brand feels scattered or inauthentic, or you want to attract higher quality clients and opportunities. If you're ready to show up confidently in your brand, you want a brand that feels and looks good, and you see your personal brand as a path to legacy and impact. And I think this is one of the big things, is having the bigger vision for a big impact in the world. You can monetize your personal brand, but there's also a legacy piece to that, and an impact piece that is something that's got to be a big part of your vision. So this is not for you if you're looking for a quick fix. You don't believe that personal branding matters. You're not willing to step out of your comfort zone, or you want a cookie cutter brand formula, or you're not interested in creating a legacy or impact. This is really for people that want to play the long game, and they really see themselves getting out there, being seen, and attracting clients, making an impact. So for now, turn off your phones, no distractions, no phone notifications for the next hour, and I really appreciate you guys coming here and spending some time with me. So what you're going to learn today is, number 1, these 3 things. So number 1, how visual branding elevates your personal brand perception. Learn how top celebrities and brands use cohesive visuals to create high-profile personal brands and personal brands, and so how you can do that as well with your personal brand. Number 2, your unique factor. So discover how your unique stories, strengths, and values set you apart and make your brand irresistible. And number 3, alignment between who you are and what you express into the world as your personal brand. So see how aligning yourself with your personal brand creates a magnetic personal brand that attracts the right opportunities and clients. So the solution here is identity alchemy. So it's a process that I've created over the last 8-9 years, which is deconstruct, curate, and become. It's like it's a 3-step process. It's something that I've used over and over for the last years in my personal life and my personal brand. And, they're very one and the same. And that's kind of the whole idea with a personal brand, is that you want to be very congruent and transparent create that alignment. So who you are on the inside is showing up on the outside. And this process helps you discover that and put that out into the world. So a little bit about my journey. I was born into a Christian conservative family up in Seattle, Washington. And this was I was taught in a certain construct which created and crafted my own identity. Until later on in life, I started exploring the world outside of that. I was always an artist. I was always creating. And as you can see here, the little camera, me with the little camera, was foreshadowing the rest of my life. And little did I know, I went through a whole nother career of graphic design before I started photography. But I was always loving art, and I never thought ever that I would be a photographer. And so this is just growing. You can see the evolution of my own identities throughout the years. And it was, I started shooting for brands like Nike. And this is a photo of me on set at a Nike shoot, one of my first big shoots. And then just through my own evolution and process, I became a commercial photographer. I moved to New York, and I was building big brands. And I was shooting campaigns that I would see in print ads. I would see them in billboards. And this became my identity. This was who I thought I was. And that was getting expressed in the world. It wasn't until later that I went through a dark night of the soul. My business slowed down as social media came on the rise, and it was a collapse for me in a certain sense. And I found myself in my first dark night of the soul. And thereafter, I went I took a mastery and transformational training and emotional intelligence and leadership training out in LA, which showed me that my identity and my self-worth was coming from my career and my job and who I was shooting as a photographer, who I was shooting, what I was shooting. And when that crumble started to slow down, I crumbled with it. And so that just catalyzed a whole new shift in my own personal world. And shortly thereafter, I started a podcast and slowly started building my own personal brand. So I've been through this process myself, and all these different, I've gone through all different iterations of my own identity. And so this identity alchemy process was starting to begin. I started crystallizing that around that time, around the time of my first dark night of the soul, and that was when I first started deconstructing the identity that I was in and the identity that I was moving through. And down the road, there was another dark night of the soul. So just, this is all part of the process, part of the identity alchemy process. So this is, a few of my parts of my story. So building that personal brand, building that was part of the evolution, and then helping others build their personal brands. And I really fell in love with photographing big entrepreneurs like Lewis Howes and Jim Quick and some of these people you might know. And this was a space where I was able to help make the world a better place through helping other people expand their message into the world. And then that kind of all trickled into where we are now, and creating the identity alchemy process to help other people get their message into the world. So these are a few global brand campaigns that I've shot over the years, just to give you guys context of where I've been and what my experience is, and to be able to teach all of this stuff. So I was helping these global brands create these visual tools, to create photography, which are these visual tools to elevate their brand and get people attached into becoming a piece of them and wanting to buy their products, essentially. So it's high level advertising, high level imagery that really captivates people. And when you're building a brand, this is one of the tools that you use. This also goes the same for celebrities. Celebrities use use high level imagery through magazine editorials and different spaces to create an aspirational feeling. It creates a parasocial relationship, which people feel like they get to know you or get to know them. And so this is the same concept I'm going to teach you today with Identity Alchemy. So these are some of the entrepreneurs that I photographed. Same thing. So I'm applying the idea of high-level editorial imagery to the personal brand, to these people. So it's a mixture of lifestyle portraits, which I call elevated realism. These are just an example of what I've created for other entrepreneurs. So the idea is to teach you this concept of using high-level imagery to attract people into your brand. So I'm here with you. You know, life is a dojo of self-mastery if you choose it to be. And I've been on this path of my own self-mastery. And the personal brand is really the outlet for that. And it's almost a space to keep you in accountable to. So you can see your personal brand as a self-mastery container. The self-mastery just creates depth and greater self-expression, greater impact in the world. The better you make yourself, the better you work, the more you work on yourself, the more you're going to make an impact in the world. And in turn, it creates better health, greater wealth, and deeper relationships with people. You get to help people in their journeys. So creating this course for me was my own dojo of self-mastery and all the things that I was learning to be able to teach you guys. Magnetism comes through the intention of self-mastery as well, and it's part of the entrepreneurial journey. Type a 5 in the chat if you feel like your entrepreneurial journey is directly related to your inner world and how your belief systems and how you see the world and how you show up in the world. So this is a little bit about my personal brand. I just launched this new website, alkinsworld.com, to kind of really bring everything all together and to showcase or to make this, you know, your website is your sales tool, and you also want to have images and graphics that people aspire to, content that people aspire to. So when they land on your page, they see you in an elevated space. So building a personal brand is deeper than just the surface level. It goes deeper than just iPhone photos, cookie cutter templates, and copying what other people seem to be doing. It's a deeper dive into the real you and sharing that with the world. It's about bringing out your unique factor and letting yourself be seen. So showing up authentically is about letting yourself be seen and seeing yourself in a whole new way. And you want to really share that with the world because that's what people are going to connect with. So what's possible for you? To make you and your brand magnetic, you must unlock your own self-expression, then elevate brand credibility and trust through emotional, resonant visual storytelling and perception. So really, it's how do you tell the story of who you are into the world through your personal brand, and making sure that those are congruent. This is a case study with Lewis Howes. We did a shoot, and he was like, what's the concept for the shoot? What story are we telling? And I pitched him the idea of shooting in Cappadocia with the hot air balloons as in the space of rising to your greatness and shooting within that, rising to being with the hot air balloons. And that was the whole concept, rising to greatness. And he loved the idea. So we went out to Cappadocia and shot out there. And so visual storytelling is the key here. And these images have become iconic. You know, people recognize these images. People still come up to me and talk about those images that we shot. So what's possible for you if you follow my process? You'll discover a formula that you can use ongoing as you evolve and grow as a human so that you can apply that to your personal brand. You can develop an identity blueprint to create clarity for your upgraded identity that you were embodying and telling the story of. Identity architecting is the process to build the credibility of your personal brand. You'll discover your unique factor and how to exploit it in service to the world. So secret number 1, visual branding elevates your brand perception. And perception is everything. And if you're not creating that perception intentionally, then other people are going to make assumptions and create that perception for you. They're going to make that up. A brand is a gut feeling that somebody has about you or your brand. And if you're not intentionally putting out the things that really make you, people are going to make their own assumptions. And it's important because it can influence a customer's decision to purchase a product or service. That's why we buy one product over another. So which brand would you buy first because you trust it? If you had equal amounts of, if it didn't really matter, if cost didn't matter, which one would you choose? Most people would say the one on the right, Coca-Cola, because they know the brand. They're familiar with the brand. The brand has been seeded into their minds across all different advertising channels and in every space, through advertising, through commercials, through what the brand has put out there. And so you subconsciously know the brand, which gives them an edge over people choosing between two products. And branding helps make that snap decision for people. It helps make that quick decision in the end. I was in a grocery store at one point, and it was in a place where there was not really much healthy food, and we were looking for the healthy product, and we were looking all over, and it came down to the actual label, the design of the label, the branding of the label. We finally found some healthy products, but it was really just our brains were like looking for the right thing. They were looking for a certain aesthetic that represented the feeling of what we wanted to buy. So Coca-Cola has a trustworthy brand perception through evoking emotion and aspiration in graphic design and photography. So you see the red everywhere with the Coca-Cola logo. And then all of their imagery has like a certain like fun, refreshing feel. And it's a whole body of imagery that draws people into the brand. Celebrities use this high-level portraiture in magazines to create an elevated personal brand perception. So this is a really big space where celebrities are seen in magazines through this style of photography to really create this relationship with the viewer. And when it's placed in these different places in these magazines, then people see them in a different light. And that's the whole point. And this is something that, you can do as an entrepreneur, a coach, a speaker. You can use the same secret to create an elevated elevated perception of your personal brand. So these are entrepreneurs that have used photography in magazines to show up differently in the world, in a space where people look up to them. So what's possible for you utilizing this secret? It establishes a visual identity. High-level photography can help establish a brand's visual identity by creating a consistent style and aesthetic across all marketing materials. This can help their audience easily recognize them and build trust and familiarity over time. So seeing these seeing these images, this visual style helps people to remember them throughout seeing them in multiple places. It creates emotional resonance. Photography can evoke emotions and create connection between the brand and your clients. Someone that uses elevated realistic images can create a sense of aspiration and relatability in the minds of their audience and creates a neurological connection with them. So when we see a photograph where we feel that person's emotion, we feel that person's essence, there's something that resonates with us between us and them and creates more of a connection. It communicates your brand values. So photography can also communicate your values and beliefs. For example, a person whose brand that values mind education may show them in a sea of books. So you can use storytelling to really showcase your beliefs and values. So 58% of Americans would be willing to pay more to receive their services from a professional who does not work at a large company but has that personal brand. So look at today, the rise of the personal brand, all these founders of companies, whether it's Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or anybody who their personal brand has risen over the top of their own product brand, and they're able to drive more sales because their personal brand is a bigger entity. So takeaway from this, write down 10 of your favorite brands, both product and personal brands that you aspire or they inspire you, and write down what it is about them that you aspire to create a new awareness around brand perception. So what is it that you love about that brand? Create a new awareness about that brand and what makes you feel them or feel the attachment or connection to that brand. Number 2, secret 2 is developing your unique factor. So your unique factor is values, strengths, your hero's journey. It's a number of things. It's everything that makes you you. Your tastes, your likes, your dislikes, the things that you've gone through. So your cultural advantage, your circumstances, where you've been and why, what you've achieved and why, who you've helped along the way, and who and what you've taken a stand for. That can be your hobbies and your interests, your mindset, perspective, what you teach, your message to the world. Your hero story, what makes you different, makes you valuable. So good exercise is to write down your whole life story in bullet points in a factual way, and then go through and write down what you've learned from those points, because you'll be able to use your story and all of these and incorporate them into your brand so that people connect with you more. So Jim Quick is he had a book. He teaches learning and brain use and productivity, and he wrote a book called Limitless. And he wanted me to do a shoot with him for his book launch, and so we came up with the idea of shooting a limitless skyline of New York City off of his rooftop. And we also shot in the New York Public Library, representing learning and all of his values around learning and using the brain to become limitless. So this is just another example of how that can play out into your brand story. Another example, Gabby Bernstein, her unique factor is mindfulness. So we utilize her expression to tell the story of mindful surrender to the universe. And this became more about the expression and her gestures to tell that story. This one, Bo Eason is another client. His unique factor is that he's an ex-NFL player who is now a business and mindset coach, and one of his top values is family. So we wanted to tell the story of his history with the NFL and football, but with his new context and his new story of his values of family. So we shot him and his family on a football field playing and spending time together to illustrate this, to tell this story. Emily Fletcher, she her unique factor is teaching meditation for busy people. So anyone who isn't a monk living in the Himalayas, we want to tell the story of bringing peace and meditation in a busy city like New York City. Lewis Howes went through this one. His unique factor is greatness. So we shot him in Cappadocia with the story of rising to greatness. So the takeaway, you can screenshot this slide and journal your answers to these points. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to screenshot this. So secret number 3, alignment between who you are and what you express through your personal brand. Alignment, your brand becomes an extension of your identity. When alignment is present, your brand isn't something that's separate from you. It becomes a natural extension of your story, personality, and values. So people feel when you're out of alignment. That creates inauthenticity. When you're showing up in the world through social media, through your website, through your brand, through all of these things, and it's not really who you are inside, people feel that inauthenticity, that out of alignment. And so this process is really about getting clear on who you are, creating clarity, and then aligning that with what you're putting out into the world. Authenticity attracts trust. When your brand is a true reflection of who you are, people feel a deeper connection and trust you more. And people buy when they trust you more. And the more you can create that alignment, the more authenticity you'll create. Self-expression becomes your superpower. Branding isn't about fitting into a mold. It's about using your unique voice, visuals, and presence to express what makes you unique. So your weirdness is your superpower. I love to say that, because the more you can show your weirdness off, people connect with that. It's less cookie cutter. It takes people by surprise. So, figure out what those weird quirks that you may have and really bring those to the surface, because that's what may resonate with people. Opportunities come to you more easily. When your brand radiates clarity and confidence, people feel drawn to collaborate, support, and buy what you offer. And it's so true. It magnetizes the opportunities when people have a higher perception of you through your visual brand, and you are aligned with that. Visual storytelling. It's a powerful way of communicating your story through self-expression, through photography, graphic design, and video media. So it's not just photography and graphic design, but video media, social media like YouTube and spaces like that, where you're being seen and heard, and getting your thoughts and out to the world. Utilizing your personal brand is the best way to communicate your magnetism. So working with the right photographers and designers and getting yourself out into the world on camera is the best way to create that magnetism. Alignment between your true self and visual storytelling creates a magnetic personal brand, and a magnetic personal brand equals a bigger audience and more money. So look on the image on this next slide. Write down which ones resonate with you and why. What magnetizes them to you to them. So what is it about any of these images that you feel a resonance with? Good. So the takeaway, journal what you desire your self-expression to look like. Who would you be if you had no limitations? How would you put yourself out into the world? What would that look like? Ask yourself, if I could shed just one layer of what is covering my fullest expression, who would I be then? if I brought one part of me to the surface, it could bring a new level of credibility. What would that leverage in my brand? So this is a client of mine, Jeremy Eugene Wilson, and this is on the left is where he started, and on the right is where we took him. Which image of Jeremy would you trust more? Just illustrate the power of visual storytelling and credibility. This is the whole shoot that we did. It really tells his story, his family values, all of his values, and it's about creating a connection with the audience. So to recap, the first one, how visual branding elevates your personal brand perception. So write down your top 10 brands or personal brands and why they inspire you. Create a new awareness around that perception. What's the awareness of why you are drawn to that brand? Number 2, your unique factor. Journal your stories and other factors, know what makes you you. What's your weirdness, your superpower? The first step to fuller self-expression is what makes you you, and really getting clarity on that. And then number 3, align yourself, your true self and your visual storytelling to create a magnetic personal brand. So make sure that you're in alignment by who you are and what you're putting out into the world. So if you want to hear how I can help you supercharge your personal brand to magnetic, here's how we can work together. The Identity Alchemy process, deconstruct, curate, and become, is about discovering and getting clarity on your identity, and then curating a new identity, and then becoming that in the world, both in real life, IRL, and on camera and out in public. So to liberate, and you must deconstruct what's hidden within you, what is holding you back, and what gets to come out in service to the world. So deconstructing your adopted identity, the identity the world told you to be, deconstructing of what was repressed within you. So what's deep inside that gets to be liberated. Deconstruction of your natural identity, who you are, your true self-expression. Deconstruct what is holding you back. What are the limiting beliefs and stories that you have that tell you can't do this, or it's not for you, or that hold you back from becoming the fullest expression of yourself. Release fears and negative emotions. What somatically keeps you from self-expression? Deconstruct your hero's journey. What's the story arc of your life that has brought you here? Number 2, curate your unique factor and visual translation. So your hero's journey plus your beliefs and perspectives and your values and priorities. So Dharma alignment. This is how you're going to curate what you want to step into. Architecting your life's Dharma into your brand. Designing your archetype. Creating your archetype through those that inspire you. Interests and inspirations. Bringing all of you to the table. I see me, seeing yourself in a new way. The identity architecture game, operating in this world as a game. So learning how to play the game of this human existence, and especially in the personal brand and business space. Visual story, inspiration, and translation, how to translate your unique factor with visual inspiration, visual essence, mood boards, that kind of thing. And then the third part of this is becoming and expressing. So your unique factor and visual translation. So Dharma alignment. This is how you're going to become in the world. This is how to be what you curated, and then using the visual translation to create those assets into the world. So working with the right photographer, working with the right graphic designer, getting out there on YouTube and social media. How do you create this brand after you've gotten clear on it? And then these are some extra, these are guest panels that we have in the course as well. Digital Jeff, using AI to expand your social media. Garen Jones, accessing your inner child to identify your gift. Dr. Christian Gonzalez, shedding old shedding the old through emotional release. We've got Ivana Fontana, celebrity stylist, elevating your identity through style and confidence. Jessica Zweig, self-worth and your personal brand. Gerard Adams, telling your visual storytelling for your personal brand. Anna Nazari, the secret power of visual branding for your personal brand. And Roy Vaden, how to monetize your personal brand. With this, you get the identity blueprint. You'll be creating, this is what we'll be creating together. It's a document that you can walk through to create clarity and visual translation. So you'll have this template. It'll be in both worlds, both words and inspirational images that you'll use to be able to have your photographer bring your story to life visually. So what would it mean to you to be fully expressed in your life and personal brand, attracting more clients, more impact, and more money? What you'll walk away with is a process of self-mastery you can utilize forever to activate more express levels in your personal brand. It's a 5-day experience, or 5 weeks, 5 different modules. You get identity blueprint, and you get the masterclass bundle with the 8 guest experts and a community WhatsApp group. So the total value is $13,279. The price would normally be $1,497, but today your price is $397. So what you're going to find, if you got started today, if you were able to go through a process and to architect and invent a new you, to gain clarity and to upgrade, it's time to deconstruct your identity and build a new identity. What people are saying, Brooke says, this masterclass completely shifted how I see my personal brand. I finally understood how to show up authentically and attract the right people. Nick's approach is nothing like I've ever experienced. He combines branding with self-expression in a powerful way, says Aspen. I've never felt more aligned with my brand. This is the clarity I've been looking for, Ruben. So what you'll walk away with, a process of self-mastery you can utilize forever to activate more express levels of your personal brand, a 5-day identity alchemy experience, identity blueprint, masterclass bundle with 8 guest experts. And again, so if you want to purchase this, you can go to this URL, paste it here in the chat. So thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you for bearing with the technical difficulties at the beginning. Feel free to DM me over on Instagram at Nick Onken if you have any questions or want to learn anything else.